Numbers are in, projections are in, and all of the totals are being tallied, and it looks like, well, Barbie's going to be the biggest film of 2023, which is just so weird to think about, but when you just kind of run it back and realize what was on the slate, it's not all that shocking. It's just, okay, maybe you would have thought, a couple of changes here and there, but you combine that with the other opening of the big film that's coming out as well, of Oppenheimer. Well, it's the fourth biggest opening, not just of 2023, not just of the 2000s. We're talking of all time. That is just one of the numerous box office records that are being broken right now as we speak. Isn't it so great to be a part of history, to see everything burn down in front of your eyes and nobody learning any lessons, and you just have half of the critic class turning the other cheek saying that, oh, it's just a stupid doll movie, bro. What are you concerned about? Yeah, it's once again the same type of head in the sand tactics that have led to, well, feminism, intersectionality, all of the same crap. Nothing's really changed. You just run it back, a decade at this point in time, and what's number one in the box office, and what has it always been in the preceding decade? Female empowerment story. That's why I've just kind of checked out of catching new movies. Everything that I do, and this video is definitely going to encapsulate it more. I just run the numbers, take a look at what's going on, assess it as such. I ain't got time. I legitimately ain't got time to watch any of this shit that goes on in the theaters. Okay, I'm not spending 4 hours of my fucking day going down there to just be marginally entertained by something I don't even want to go watch. The last film that I went and seen in the theaters was Dark Knight Rises, Christopher Nolan's. Probably the first film that everybody looked at, and I think after a certain amount of time I realized, wow, Christopher Nolan's not exactly all that infallible after all, and maybe that should have been the tipping point in realizing, ooh, you give that guy too much leeway and he's just going to make a whole bunch of fucking tripe, which is kind of what you're seeing when it comes to Oppenheimer. Visually, just a masterwork. Oh, it tells such a heart-wrenching tale. Not a lot of substance outside of that, and something that you're not really, pining to watch again. That's why it's doing half as well as Barbie, because pitching the indoctrinating message to a group of people that have been fed it for generations and generations. Of course that's going to resonate because, okay, it's not the best marker that's out there. It's just it's an aggregate of opinions, and everybody loves this shit. Okay, they just love what's being shoveled in their face because I like recognizable IP. I like colorful pictures. It's not a superhero film, so that means it's better. But it looks like at least some people are paying attention to this. The critic side of things, I never really take all that serious. I just take a look at the audience. Okay, verified audience, so the 2,500 verified ratings as opposed to the all audience over 10,000 ratings. It's a little bit different, but still, man, for as bad as that shit sounds, running through a whole bunch of plot synopses, listening to the people that actually went down and wasted their time, and to the movie's one credit, it's under 2 hours long. I guess that's a little bit more tolerable, but that still doesn't make up for it being one of the absolute most spiteful, hateful, misandrist films that you're likely to ever see. If I'm to recommend one quick-ish review of the film, go check out Critical Drinker. He does really good short-form reviews. That's what I would highly recommend on this. Let's take a look at some of the numbers in the rundown. While Hollywood studios and the WGA and SAG-AFTRA are still at a standstill and labor talks, streaming residuals, the big bone of the contention, the theatrical side of the business exploded with Barbenheimer, together grossing more than $511 million worldwide, $235.5 million of that being domestic. Never before in history of Hollywood, movies have two films opened to $100 million and $50 million at the domestic box office. So yeah, shouldn't that basically drive home the point that no, Hollywood's not dead? And if that strike can be resolved in a reasonable amount of time, we're just going to see more communist apologia and subversive feminist tripe. Fantastic shit, because there's clearly still an audience there. As of Sunday, Warner Brothers' Barbie counts as domestic opening of $155 million with $182 million abroad. Universal's Oppenheimer did $80.5 million domestic and another $93.7 million abroad. Yeah, ComScore this morning says the weekend for all movies stateside came in at $301.6 $288.6 million, making it the fourth time only in the history of the domestic marketplace for all picks to have greater than $300 million. Oh, wow. Is the largest opening since December 17th, 2021, when Spider-Man No Way Home, led all pictures, $281.8 million, and the largest since prior to the pandemic. That being April 26th, 2019, with Avengers Endgame. That totally makes sense right there. To an overall $357 million all-time record weekend. So Hollywood's back, just in time for everybody to be on strike right now. So what are the records that Barbie broke? I don't really care all that much about Oppenheimer. I'm probably never going to see it. It's probably just going to fade out of public conscious like the previous few Christopher Nolan films. Who actually remembers Tenet outside of it having terrible sound mixing? But we got to be honest about ourselves. Christopher Nolan used to be really talented. Insomnia is great. The Prestige is fantastic, and 2 out of the 3 Dark Knight films are some of the best superhero fare has ever been put to celluloid. But we ain't in those times anymore. Now you're making biopics about pissy-eyed communists. Anyways, Barbie, largest domestic opening of 2023 as of right now, and I legitimately don't see anything else that's on the docket. Maybe Blue Beetle will knock it off. Largest Warner Brothers advance sales ever at $49.5 million. Largest pre-shows for 2023, besting, Ant-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy. Largest grossing day in 2023, $70.8 million, beating the Super Mario Brothers film, which, now with Barbie's success, you're just going to go ahead and sweep away all of those lessons learned by Super Mario Brothers. Or just try to pair what you learned from Barbie with video game adaptations, which is going to be great because we know that Phoebe Waller-Bridge, the chick that single-handedly killed off anything that was hopeful surrounding the Indiana Jones franchise, she's going to be writing a new Tomb Raider story. Fantastic stuff, right? So we're going to get a video game adaptation with one of the most insufferable feminists in all of Hollywood. Yay! And the largest opening for a female-directed film stateside, outstripping Captain Marvel with $153.4 million. So to all those doomsayers that were saying Hollywood is dead, this film did better than Captain fucking Marvel. The film that was released between the 2 biggest films that the MCU are ever going to put out in Infinity War and Endgame. The biggest film of all time, mind you. They put Captain Marvel in between there. It was one of those films that's like, wow, that made $1 billion? Fucking weird. Why is that? Because of expert placing. Barbie, in the middle of fucking nowhere, in the middle of a desert of overwhelming successes in Hollywood, just goes out there and beats one of the most astroturfed superhero films of all time. Kind of funny because, the marketing for Captain Marvel was fairly inorganic, and you could also say the same thing about Barbie, but I would be repeating the previous couple of videos that I did on the subject. So, what exactly is Hollywood going to take away from this stuff? They're going to take away all the fucking worst aspects of both of the films. The real meaning behind Barbenheimer. If you build exciting movies, they will come. What are the lessons that everybody's going to learn? Well, history of movies in the age of streaming. COVID, the first double strike since the 60s. Yes, the day of July 21st, 2021 will go down as a rare date that actually remembered as a box office landmark. For that day, Hollywood dropped 2 blockbusters. You couldn't say dropping 2 bombs. Like, for Christ's sakes, you have the guy who is become death at the center of one of those films. You couldn't make an atomic bomb reference, you humorless fucks. Like, Christ almighty. One pink and the other dark, both of which hit their target audience and went boom. You made one little reference about a bomb with the boom at the end, but that's the best you could do. Man, fuck all these rags. Downside of our franchise culture is that even when movies become big hits, their appeal often boils down to basic expression of mass taste engineered by market forces. Look, the Jurassic Park concept worked again. Shocking. Well, no, there was kind of a big drop-off from the first one. Not just in quality, I'm just talking in response afterwards, and it took a long hiatus between Jurassic Park 3, which I'm pretty sure was a huge fucking dud, and Jurassic World, which I think from a quality aspect is probably an absolute dumpster fire. Haven't seen it, just heard it referenced as such. That came back to $1 billion for the first time in the franchise, but the original is, well, it's the original. Jurassic Park is a fucking classic. Mission Impossible series, which, yeah, if you take a look at the box office, it's weird. It's not doing shit. I don't know, fucking strange. Yeah, series has a wild card tucked into its gamesmanship. What, Tom Cruise? But once you look past Cruise's stunt mojo, even the perfectly decent new Mission Impossible installment has been greeted by critics as the best action film of the summer. Yeah, it's not even the best performing action film of the summer, depending on how you want to characterize Sound of Freedom, but this is an industry rag, so they're never going to, reference that in any sort of objective stance. So you could say that Barbie, by tapping into the appeal of the most famous doll of the 20th century, comes off from as an ironclad piece of IP as any other movie ever has. Yeah, so now they're just trying to argue, what are the lessons that you can learn from the success of Barbie and Oppenheimer? Trying to say that they're brand new IPs. It's like, yeah, no, okay, it's one of the most recognizable piece of merchandise in all of the Western world. Nobody doesn't know what a Barbie is. It's as famous as fucking McDonald's or Harley Davidson. Like, it's right up there with name recognition. And yeah, for the first time in, I think, ever, you have a big budget live adaptation with for about as best as you can assemble in today's day and age, star-studded cast. Yeah, okay, it was going to be a success. Did anybody think that it was going to be this successful? Fourth biggest opening in box office history? Yeah, I don't really think so. You could say, okay, great, it made $155 million in 3 days, but a Barbie movie was always going to have a built-in audience. Exactly. Except, okay, cool, here's the exception. Here's what makes this situation different. That image, if Barbie had been made in a standard way by a standard filmmaker, it could have easily been a Smurf movie with a better clothes. Sorry, what? Okay, no, it's because you were deliberately deceptive with your marketing. You put it off as being, oh, wow, oh, you're doing a Barbie movie. Oh, it's live action. Oh, it's kind of got that, as a live action adaptation of an IP, kind of got that dirty glint of a Disney live action remake. But, by the marketing, by the trailer, this looks like it could be fun. Oh, you're just going to go ahead and embrace the aesthetic? Oh, that'll be interesting. And you got old googly eyes playing no dick over there. Oh, okay, that could be fun. It could be great. But then when you go to the cinema, all of a sudden it just becomes an abortion allegory in the first scene, and then it just tells you that men are trash and that you can treat them as second-class citizens. It's like, oh no, where did the fun go? But Barbie may be a legendary IP, but the idea of the movie about Barbie, Ken, and all their friends, which again doesn't really sound like it, just kind of sounds like Ken's a slave and Barbie is a feminist wet dream girl boss. Yeah, the concept lends itself to a human dimensions. Or to entertaining qualities for a movie for anybody over the age of 12. Which, okay, by the age of 12, aren't most girls kind of just done playing with Barbies? Like my sister and her friends when they were growing up, yeah, they were pretty much done with Barbies by about the first or second grade. Like, isn't that about the time that you start to give that shit up? Like 8 or 9 years old. So why would you start to aim that messaging there if you weren't just trying to infuse your own politics? For that, you need a filmmaker like Greta Gerwig. I'm tired of hearing this bitch's name. It's fucking everywhere. Nobody's ever heard of this bitch beforehand. Okay? She might be wonderful. She might be fantastic. She's just simply not battle tested. We've seen these flavor of the month chicks pop up. What's her name there? Chloe Zhao? Is that actually her name? She won the Academy Award. Oh my god, she's the first female to ever win a directorial Oscar. Oh my god, clap for her. And see, she's Chinese as well. Except for the CCP just completely and totally disowned her, and everything that she makes is blacklisted in China. Oh fuck, swing and a miss right there in order to try to appeal for some diversity points. Oh, she's great though. She's great. She won an Oscar, and now we're just gonna give her a Marvel movie. Which one was that? Oh right, The Eternals. And what is Chloe Zhao doing right now? I think I seen her down there at a laundromat or something. I'm not entirely. I'm doing nails. Don't know. What about Patty Jenkins? Oh, she directed that absolutely fantastic Wonder Woman duology, right? Oh my god, it was so fun. Oh, you guys remember? Oh my god, there was that wonderful No Man's Land scene when a bullet is coming at Wonder Woman and she looks at her gauntlet to make sure that the bullet will hit it. Oh, it's so great. And she also directed Wonder Woman 84, which, yeah, okay, fantastic. And then she spurged out on the studio because she couldn't get full license to the writing anymore, and that she was going to be reeled back in because she didn't do any writing for the first overrated Wonder Woman, and then she got to come forward and have complete control for 84, and that was a fucking dumpster fire. And now what is she doing? begging for change somewhere. But now they have a new shiny thing, and Greta Gerwig, who again has no fucking credits to her name. I went and took a look. It's like, okay, cool. I'm tired of hearing this lady's name. I've heard time and time again she has absolutely zero credits. It's like, what have you actually done? What is everybody pumping you up? It's the Phoebe Waller-Bridge thing. It's like, oh, she was great for Fleabag. Fuck is Fleabag? One shitty show? Fantastic stuff. Okay, she's an actress, a writer, and director. Okay, cool. What exactly are her credits? Okay, as a director, Barbie. She directed a music video. Okay, Little Women. Okay, some feminist shit. Lady Bird. Okay, I can see a trend right here. And Nights and Weekends. I have no fucking idea what that is at all. But okay, so she has 2 feminist masterworks underneath her belt that has absolutely no impact, but I'm sure this is one of those critic circle jerk things where it's like, oh my god, it's so great. So okay, you can kind of see why she got the job, okay, to adapt an IP, because Little Women, in case you didn't know, it's kind of a popular book from way back in the cut. So yeah, she has history in working with adaptations, and adaptations about strong, empowered women. But yeah, she's only really been hitting like that since 2017, but oh, she's been writing so much stuff all in the meantime, okay? Like Hannah Takes the Stairs, okay? Nights and Weekends, again, writing the screenplay. Northern Comfort. Stop me if you've heard any of these before. The Dish and the Spoon, Francis Ha, Making a Scene, How I Met Your Dad. Oh right, that was a spinoff from How I Met Your Mother. How did that end up going? Mistress in America, China, Illinois, and then, oh, okay, cool. She wrote what she was directing as well with Lady Bird and Little Women and Barbie as well. Fantastic stuff, okay, because we know about her being earmarked for the rebooting of Chronicles of Narnia series, which, boy, that's going to suck a massive amount of dick. It'll probably just be the guy characters that are in there. Aslan will probably be shown with his head on a spike outside of the Queen's Palace at the beginning. I forget all the details. It's been a long time since I read the original film. Or read the original film. Or no, read the original book back in school. I liked it. I liked it a lot. What else? What else is she working on? You can't make this shit up. Fucking seriously? She wrote the script. She wrote the script for the upcoming Snow White live-action remake. Holy fucking crap. Like, nobody's seen this before? What the fuck? Like, this absolute fucking disaster. Like, we've seen the leaked, fake, not fake set photos that just look absolute dog shit. Okay, like, this has been a troubled production from the beginning, when Peter Dinklage decided to just burn down the entire knee-high industry for him and his ilk. That's why we ended up getting, the 7 magical creatures to begin with. But now I guess this is a much more concrete take. Disney's new race-swapped Snow White movie removes dwarfs after accusations of ableism. As an old-school wrestling fan, minis matches were fucking great, and ain't nobody looked at them like they were handicapped. Like, they're just small people. Another early life Dawn reference. I think this was 6th grade. Must have been 6th grade, because I remember the school that I was at the time. But we had the weird, I think it was either Canadian or Albertan wheelchair basketball team. Whatever, regardless. It was a high-level team that came through. And one of their athletes was a dwarf. Okay, and everybody ran through their illnesses and whatever, whatever their afflictions were. Because I was the tallest kid at the school at the time, I was picked out, and it's like, okay, come sit next to me for a second. The dwarf came over, and it's like, just come over, I want to show you something funny. I was like, okay, at least it's in front of everybody else, I'm not going to take an advantage of or anything like that. We end up both sitting down. This is in the gymnasium that's going on at the time, by the way, so they were going to play a game and all that stuff. They were going to pick some of the more athletic kids, and they were going to come out, and they were just going to show how much better they were, and it's like, yeah, of course, you guys know what the fuck you're doing. We're just, K through 6 kids, so whatever. But yeah, I was about, 6th grade. Oh, no, right. That school went up to 9th grade. So I could have been 7th or... Oh, no, that was 6th grade. Sorry, my mistake. I'm confused. This is like 20 fucking years ago at this point in time. But yeah, we both sit down on the ground, and he's actually taller than me because it's just the stunted growth in the limbs. Like, the torsos are exactly the same. And he was a hell of an athlete. So yeah, to try to pull victim cards on somebody else's behalf when they don't perceive themselves to be that way, a little bit fucked up, but it's classic. It's peak 2023 activity. Main cast of the upcoming live-action movie Snow White and the 7 Magical Creatures has has been released, and it appears that the actors who play the seven dwarves are more diverse than one could have imagined. The Daily Mail reports that Snow White will be played by Rachel Zegler and have 7 companions of all different genders. And depending on the pictures that you're seeing, kind of looks like 8 or 7.5, you know. Genders, ethnicities, and heights, and sexes as well, because there's obviously one female. Don't know if she identifies as such, but there's clearly one in there as well, but whatever. Disney announced that the so-called magical creatures would be replacing the traditional 7 dwarfs after avoiding reinforcing stereotypes like what the movie's based on, the old fairy tale from back in the cut. This comes after Game of Thrones actor Peter Dinklage criticized the fucking backwoods story last year, per the report. I was a little taken back that Disney were very proud to cast a Latina actress as Snow White, and they're telling a story about Snow White and the 7 dwarfs. It makes no sense to me. You're progressive in one way, and you're still making those fucking backwoods stories about 7 dwarves living in a cave together. What the fuck are you doing, man? I have done nothing to advance this cause from my soapbox. Well, you kind of needed to stack a couple of soapboxes in order for anybody to hear you. I guess I'm not loud enough. No, it's just sound doesn't quite resonate upwards as well as it does downwards and kind of disperses. I loved you for 2 seasons as Tyrion in Game of Thrones, the only 2 seasons worth of damn. Anyways, there's been more to come out, at least in the press. And yeah, we got this little clip right here, and for a multitude of reasons, Rachel Zegler's face is also mine when I just seen this clip and listened to it as well, because, okay, you have Snow White, take a pick, and the Evil Queen. That's your cast, ladies and gentlemen, for the new Snow White film. But it's not going to have a Prince Charming at all, because it's 2024 by the time that the film releases, after all. So we don't need to tell any of those backwards stories. Of course not. God, I want to die.
Said you were bringing a modern edge to it on stage. What do you mean by that?
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we...
Oh my God, it's no longer 19... It's current year. It's current year, ladies and gentlemen. Current year. Oh, fucking idiot.
Absolutely wrote a Snow White that is...
She's not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved...
Oh, she's not going to be saved by the prince. Oh, I can't wait for your interpretation of Cleopatra. You have an Israeli playing an Egyptian. What could possibly go wrong?
For the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be. And
oh, Rachel, no. Why would you say that? No.
The leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true. And so...
Oh my God, it's going to be so fantastic. She's going to start great and continue to be great, and then by the end of the film, she'll just figure out how great she actually is. Oh, Christ.
It's just a really incredible story for, I think, young people everywhere to see themselves in.
Snow White?
Young people everywhere. Oh, except for the guys that, work really hard to become, that Prince Charming. Don't worry about them. You're superfluous to the story about the strong, empowered woman. Fantastic. If you play your cards right, you can go ahead and become a himbo and then become a second-class citizen in the next Barbie adaptation. You want to do that, folks?
It is running for president.
I'm launching my campaign. Yeah.
Oh my God, just legitimately, guys, this is what we have to look forward to. Okay, Greta Gerwig's working on that script as well. Okay, it'll probably be sold as, oh, take a look. Oh, look at all the hate of all those man babies that are just so mad about the Latina Snow White. What says that there can't be a Snow White? The name kind of implies as much. You got magical creatures. Thought it was based on the 7 Dwarfs story. Yeah, well, guess what? We also don't have Prince Charming, so go fuck yourself. I would say that they really hate money, but with the success of Barbie, unless we see a steep drop-off in the second week, if it's going to be aimed at women, like the Barbie film is, I think we're in for just entertainment is going to continue on the track that it's on, and it's legitimately only going to get worse from here. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.